This is Coach Lee, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about what you can do if your ex says there's no chance that the two of you will get back together. Click the subscribe button below so that you can be notified when I have more content that's helpful to your situation. So a lot of people have scheduled coaching calls with me or send emails or comment on my channel that their ex has said there's no chance of getting back together. And they will say, so there's no chance. So none of this will work. Nothing can work because my ex has said there's no chance of us getting back together. Or they'll say, what can I do if they say there's no chance of getting back together? Well, the fact of the matter is, of course, your ex says there's no chance of getting back together. Now, sometimes they don't because they don't want to hurt your feelings, but the truth is they wouldn't break up with you if they wanted to be with you. And though sometimes they will even tell you, well, we'll probably get back together in the future, or there's hope for the future. They don't believe that there is. If they did, they would not risk losing you by breaking up with you. At the moment, your ex's heart and their mind are not where we want them to be. We have to accept that. At the moment, they don't believe there's a chance of the two of you getting back together. And if they thought there was a chance, they wouldn't have broken up with you. If they thought there was a chance and they did break up with you, they are potentially an egomaniac who thinks they can get you back at any moment, which actually describes a lot of people who do the dumping. That doesn't mean that they think that there really is a chance and they're just saying there's not a chance. It just means that they're so confident in themselves, they kind of think they could get you back because they're the ones who broke up with you. But in terms of thinking there's a chance you two will get back together, they don't think that there is because they don't want to get back with you. Hope that makes sense. But basically, we know your ex is not where we want them to be. At the moment, they don't want to be with you. So you are going to take steps to change that. Not because you're presenting something fake or being manipulative, but because you're going to work on yourself. You're going to handle this breakup with maturity. You're going to reattract your ex. But don't be surprised that right now your ex is showing all the signs of wanting to be away from you. That's the reason that they broke up with you. And so sometimes people will use the no contact rule, and I have videos about the no contact rule and the success of not contacting your ex but giving them the breakup. People will be in that. They'll be 2 weeks in it and they'll say, it's not working. Which is interesting because you cannot tell if it's working. Now there are some signs you can see, but usually it takes later on. But if you're not around your ex, if you're not in contact with your ex, you don't know what's going on. You don't know if they're struggling or not. And so you don't know if no contact is working, first of all. Second of all, it takes time. I have a video on the stages that your ex goes through during no contact. And the first stage is relief because they got the breakup over with. Your ex didn't want to hurt you. They cared about you most likely, still loved you to some degree. They weren't romantically as attracted to you as they were at one time. And that's the reason for most breakups, is that emotional attraction fail. That does not mean that they don't care about you. And so they didn't want to break up with you. Usually, breakups take months for the person to go over in their minds and accept that this is what they want to do. A lot of times they fight it. But when they do finally break up with you, the first stage they go through, as difficult as it might be to hear for you, is relief. Your ex will be relieved that they got that over with. They don't have to see you hurt. That's one of the reasons you need to stay away from them. If they see you hurt, you actually become the enemy because you're forcing them to watch you hurt because they care about you. And so if they care about you, you will hear less from them at first because they don't want to think of you hurting. They want to experience the relief, and they're kind of enjoying the relief that they got this over with, and they don't like thinking about you hurting. Feeling guilty about you hurting is not feeling attracted to you. In fact, you cannot pity someone and be attracted to them. And in this case, because they broke up with you, if they start to pity you, attraction will continue to free fall. So you don't want your ex to pity you. And it's okay right now if your ex says there's no chance of the two of you getting back together. As a matter of fact, you might be surprised just how common that is. Again, if your ex thought you two would stay together or get back together, they probably would not have broken up with you. The best thing you can do is to take them at their word, which will show them that you take them at their word. That means you don't try to talk them out of it. You don't try to convince them how great you two should be together. You give them the breakup. What this does is it actually can make their words come back to haunt them, because as they go through those stages, they become curious if they have not heard from you. Now, if they keep hearing from you, there's nothing to be curious about because they're getting the scoop on you. They know kind of where you are. They know that you're reaching out, which makes them think you want to get back together with them, even if you don't specifically say it. And so they're not able to be curious or miss you because you're contacting them. But what will happen is, if they don't hear from you, because of the fact that there is ego associated with breakups, they broke up with you, so they assume or they feel that you are less attractive than they are, that you're not quite good enough for them, that they could do better. But if they don't hear from you, they kind of wonder, why are you not chasing? Because I'm clearly more attractive. That's why I broke up with you. So you should be chasing me. Why are you not? And those words will come back to haunt them. Oh, wait. Did I tell her, did I tell him there was no chance we'd get back together? Did they believe me? Well, now if they are curious and they have just experienced relief and they didn't know what it was like to be broken up with you because it was conceptual. It was conceptual until they actually broke up with you. Then they got to experience it in reality. And so now they have to face the actual consequences. You may never come back. You may never want them back. You might be moving on. Again, mystery is more powerful than the answers. And so they're sitting there wondering why you're not reaching out. And they're sitting there thinking about the words they told you. There was no chance you get back together. If they're happy with the breakup at the moment, it might not bother them much. But the fact that they actually remember those words and kind of say, oh, that's why they're not contacting me, starts working in their minds. And I'm really getting into the stages that they go through. And I really encourage you to watch that video. It's linked to below. And also, the subscribe button is below. Please click it so that you can be notified when I have more videos like this. And if this video has been helpful to you, please click the subscribe button. But they will have to sit and determine how they really feel about the fact that maybe you're not going to reach out to them because they said there was no chance of the two of you getting back together. And they will start to usually regret that a little bit. At first, it's a little bit of that ego stroke, because maybe if they didn't say it, maybe you would be reaching out to them. Maybe they were too quick to close the door. And so they start to be concerned that they made a mistake. Now see, at this point, they don't have to be certain. They don't have to be down on their knees crying, thinking they've made the biggest mistake of their life. They just have to doubt. Just a little bit of doubt. It's all it takes to have the house of cards fall to the ground. That's when those words can serve to haunt them even more. And so the key is that you give them the breakup when they say there's no chance. If they say there's no chance, okay, that's what they said. You take them at their word. That's very important, because otherwise people could just say anything. And so that's important in life. When people say something, it's best to take them at their word and allow them to experience the consequences of those words. This will protect you in the future because they will be more careful with their words. And in this case, they will probably regret them. So give them the breakup if they've told you that there's no chance of the two of you getting back together. It's actually a fairly simple response. And this will be further underlined when they reach out to you, which oftentimes they will, most of the time they will, if you go into no contact. When they reach out to you, respond casually, politely, friendly. And I'm sure you're worried about the friend zone because we use that word a lot. I do have a video on that, and I have a post on that at myexpatcoach.com. Don't worry, you're not in danger of being in the friend zone. If they start moving towards you and you act friendly, if anything, it's a little bit of a shot at their ego, simply because if they think they're moving towards you, in some ways they probably still think they're doing you a little bit of a favor, because again, they broke up with you because they're too good for you. They're too attractive for you. So they reach out to you and you just act friendly. And they're thinking, well, is she not interested? Is he not super thrilled that I reached out? Again, with the mystery, it's a little bit of that positive frustration that we want, because you're not outright rejecting them. You're giving them just enough to make them want more. And they're having to think back on those words. Oh, well, he's acting this way because I said there's no chance of us getting back together. Is he getting over me? Is he moving on? And so throughout the whole process, if they said there's no chance of you two getting back together, it usually helps you, because it's an extreme statement. And usually extreme statements like that can cause someone to doubt their decision. And that's all we need That's all you need is some doubt. Hit the subscribe button below. This has been Coach Lee, and as always, thank you for watching.